Brothers and sisters, I wanted to tell you about the orbs, about Millan's orbs that had been coming back and forth to Earth. I was showing a vision. I kept wondering about all these drones they kept talking about it in this year and all this stuff that's going on. And I found out when I was doing the praying and stuff, vision came to me, and the Holy Spirit had talked to me and said um, that Millan had created a smoke screen. Jordell was afraid. He was concerned, really very, very concerned because it was so many of them coming to the earth. And Jordell went and sent down, he brought down one of his crafts to investigate. At the time, somebody claimed, said, we saw a huge black triangular shaped craft flying in amongst these orbs and stuff. And it was these small things, it was drones with flashing lights. But what it was, is Millan was creating stuff that looked more like humanity stuff. In order to confuse Jordell, he created a smoke screen, and he was going into different spots on the earth. And when he was going into different spots on the earth, he was with his orbs and stuff. He was collecting human DNA. His sons were more interested in studying humanity, but then you had I saw in a vision that three of them came down, the huge white ones or the elite, the higher the hierarchy. I mean, not they're not lower, but they're the higher ones. And there was three huge ones that came down in a craft and went into space was just woods that and it was homeless people out there that were sleeping in the woods that they would collect them. They were able to collect those people that was hiding out there in those woods because man is so blind and ignorant these days that they don't understand. And I remember what he was showing me that he would allow one of him troop spoke to Emperor Doplex, who which was that alien speech creature that I saw when I was young and had ran. I told you about. I ran into the cow field, my uncle's cow field, when we was running and looked up. This panel opened up on his craft where they and this thing with this huge shiny black eyes and snowy white skin was staring at me and found out later on there was the young creature was Emperor Doplex had became he became emperor. His father gave him two planet ships that he may become successful in space. And this is one that had been talking to me, and truth allowed him to speak to me. He through the spirit of truth, I've been allowed to communicate with them. And I found out later on they was terrified of me when they first saw me again, because they realized who I was. And through telepathy, he was terrified and wouldn't even come back for a while. But then the spirit of truth was telling them, after they come back and start doing, that was after they had did that cattle mutilation. And the government was, a lot of scientists was saying it was baffling, couldn't understand what in the world was going on. Because there wasn't no insects would go near these cows or nothing like that. And it was blood was sucked out of them, the rectum was gone, the genitals was gone, and the ball sacks and all this stuff, the teeth, the neck bone and stuff. And something had been doing this to these cows, sucked up all their blood. But they didn't realize that they was butchering these cows like this because they needed sustenance. They needed blood. They needed to survive. Just like a vampire survive, they needed to survive. You know, just like mosquitoes have to survive, they got to survive. They had to survive off the blood and off the fatty tissues of those uh, animals. They had to survive. They did this to cattle. They did it to all sorts of animals. And they also use DNA to try to create other animals that they can use to feed off of later on. Because he has two planet ships. I told you before, his ships are not like that. But he's more close to the Earth galaxy. And because he was afraid of truth was able to more or less, uh, I'm not gonna say less more, but he was able to talk to him, and he's starting to become more and more of an agreement with truth because he's scared. Emperor Doplex is terrified that his entire his clan is gonna be wiped out. I mean, all those his children, his family members, all those that his people are gonna be wiped out. Like you say, aliens, people, they're gonna be wiped out. They're gonna die out in space because they can't survive. They can't eat. They're having a problem. It's a sickness come among them for his punishment. The blood that they taking in to is starting to kill them. It's starting to make them sick. Therefore, they need to eat meat, and it just ain't gonna work. So he decided, look, we can't eat meat. I need to change my ways. The truth made an agreement with him. Look, if you serve me and be my servant, then I can recondition you. Therefore, Emperor Doplex decided, look, I'll obey you. Yes, I will obey you. I will follow your decrees if you can recondition me. And so he said, I will allow you to take one of Ham, one of the lowly servants that served David and Israel, service to God, Ham. So he allowed him to take one of Ham. There were some that was hiding in the woods that were homeless at the time. They were allowed to take some of them. Although you may not believe me about what I'm saying because it's kind of hard to understand. But this is not a lie. This is not a deception. But only if you will fast and weep and do as I do. If you will fast one day, it's not going to hurt you to fast a little bit, people. Come on. You can fast 6 hours. 6 little hours without food and water. And cry and weep and pray to God, and you'll know that I'm telling you the truth. You won't continue to saying Barry's lying or whoever saying Barry's lying because I'll be hearing that a lot of time when I'm talking. When I'm working, I hear that in my mind, Barry's lying because I'm not a liar. What do I have to gain by lying? Because lying is a sin. It's against God, and sin is death. You know, I always tell the truth, and I swore an oath before God that I will. The only reason I'm making these videos because He told me if I diligently keep His decrees, He will uplift me and deliver me. So when I was talking to Millan, when truth, I heard truth speak to him and tell him all this here. He said, I will change you. I will recondition you if you keep my word to Emperor Doplex. Emperor Doplex is the one with the big black shiny eyes and the snow white skin. And I'm telling you the truth. You people keep on talking about, well, look here, it's the aliens. I see it on YouTube all the time. They're saying it's some type of other form of aliens that these people talking about the Anunnaki and all that, but you don't know what the Anunnaki what really was. That was back in the day on the times when Gemini came to the earth. That's who that was, Gemini. And Gemini, when it on the moon, Gemini was on the moon as well. When they come to the earth, when they come to the moon, the Gemini had went to the moon, and this is what they was talking about. They found this they found a craft on the moon, and they found this woman in, and they called her Mona Lisa. All that back there when I had a vision about that, I learned that when I was out homeless that time in a trailer house. I had a vision. I asked God. I was praying and asking why was I feeling weird because I kept having flashbacks of this woman jumps into this ship, and she was docked on the moon, and this they was called they had called her Mona Lisa. I had saw a vision of her. She ran from this woman that was blue all over. This one real dark blue, shining brown eyes. And she ran from her, and they killed her because her own uncle, I mean her boyfriend, what it was, he killed her. He was from Gemini. She was from Gemini. She's a princess from Gemini. And he was going to marry her. Okay, this is what happened to this. This is what happened to this. It was not fake what they was talking about, this Mona Lisa on the moon thing. But to them, it may have been fake to them, but it actually something like that actually did occur in real life over 5 million years ago. what happened is her ship was shot down while she was trying to leave the moon because they claimed that on lunar Atlas they claimed that she was still in gold, but she wasn't still in gold. She was a scientist. She was a scientist, and she was a princess. She was a princess that was on one of the planet of Gemini. And King Orm, he was angry. He wanted to steal technology. So he went in there and he stuck this thing into her head. After he shot her ship down, he was in league with those fools up on Lunar Atlas. He shot her ship down. He took this thing and attached it to her brain in order to steal knowledge of the kingdom. He didn't really want her to marry him. He just wanted to steal the knowledge. He wanted to steal the knowledge from her father. And without that, because he was waiting for her to get far off from the planet of Gemini's. And that's exactly what had happened. That, but Gemini's came back and destroyed the moon. They destroyed lunar Atlas, and that's what happened to the moon base. It was a lunar Atlas on the moon, and it was destroyed. And back in the day when science, when they first went to the, you know, they first went to the moon. When anybody, if anybody ever went to the moon, if they first went to it, they actually did. They had to see temples on the moon because there was temples on the moon. Lunar Atlas was there. Its existence, it was actually there in on the moon, but it was destroyed by Gemini because Gemini went to look for the princess ship and they couldn't find her body. When they couldn't find her body, they became enraged and attacked the moon and destroyed it. Moreover, let me continue about Millan. When Millan come to the earth, they created a smoke screen. They put down a lot of things that looked like drones, human drones, and they brought forth, they like to duplicate things like humanity in order to see the mind, to play with the head. And if anybody that was sending up drones at that time, Millan was also involved in bringing. They was helping Millan because they didn't realize Millan himself was above the earth at that time. And if you seen drones that vanish in thin air, that was Millan. Anything you see vanish in thin air when you send your drone, that was Millan. Because only Millan and Jordell can duplicate. I mean, only Millan and Jordell can vanish, cause their craft to vanish in thin air. Humanity can't do that yet. And Millan will deceive you to make you think that you're there from the future. That's what these aliens, when these little bitty ones, when these crafts kept coming to the earth back and forth, back in the early years in the 90s and in the early 80s and 60s and stuff, when they come to the earth, they was running from Millan, they would escape. They were slaves, they were running from Millan. And humanity was capturing them. They would crash or something on the earth, and man would catch them, and they'll say, well, we can use this craft and re-engineer it. How you gonna re-engineer a slave ship? You can't re-engineer a slave ship. Come on now. This is a slave craft. Millan used them as slaves. They're the ones that are lower than them. They don't want them that look different from them. They ain't real white. See, Millan is real white like ice. The color this thing I got here. He's this color. He's he's like snowy white. But those aliens come down, you might see an alien with red eyes and a little black thing on his head in a peanut shaped craft. You can't re-engineer that. That's a slave craft. That's all it is, a slave craft. It's like a skit, like they say. And it's something that is used to go to them planets and collect uh stuff like, for instance, like if you go to Titan Moon, he might go on Titan one of Titan. Titan, the Saturn Moon Titan. He might go there and collect stuff in order to create a liquidate cell, in order to, the liquidate batteries in order to power this ship. Because that's exactly where they normally go to mine that stuff at. They can do it just like they can mine plasma from the moon. From the sun. They mine plasma from the sun with gigantic tubes. They can do that in order to. They take something, a planet that's more colder than the sun, 10 times freezing colder than the sun's heat is, and they build those tubes from that planet, and then they go into the sun and use it and suck up plasma from the sun. And by the time it be turned so black, by the time that tubes turn black, they suck it up, it sucked back, and they shoot it back to one of their planet ships, which mankind thinks are dwarf planets roaming out through space. They're planet ships. Those are planet ships. Those are not dwarf planets. Those are planet ships with, on the inside, there are kingdoms on the inside. This is how the Millanite emperors rule their kingdoms. And through each one of their sons' mind, they speak through, they duplicate their sons like this. They have overseers of each kingdom. And they can see through their minds because they use telepathically. They use telepathy. This is how they see through their minds, through telepathy. And people don't know these things are a lot more advanced than humanity are. They're a lot more advanced than humanity. They can do things that mankind can't. Like the dude was asking, a friend of mine was asking me one time. He says, "Man, a couple of weeks back, you see they got this huge comet." Our coworker said, "There's a huge asteroid out there, and it's worth billions and trillions of dollars. It's worth trillions of dollars, man. Wow, man, if somebody could capture that." And hey, Google and say, "No way in the world mankind could capture that. Could capture that asteroid flying back and forth out there that's worth trillions of dollars." Said, "Man, if we could capture that, man, we'd be the wealthiest people in the universe and the wealthiest people on earth. Trillions of dollars." But yeah, I said the only thing could capture that is Millan. Oh, Millan or Jordell, they could actually capture that. They could bring that asteroid straight to the earth. But those are aliens. Jordell's not gonna listen to humanity. Jordell don't want nothing to do with humanity. Millan don't either. Millan wants to destroy humanity. He don't have no love for humanity. But he have come to an agreement with the spirit of truth, because I saw the spirit of truth. I saw him speaking with him. When I saw him speaking with him, he told him that I will obey your decrees. And truth told him, if you obey my decrees, then I will give you freedom among my people, and I will make you my servant. See, this is Aferia, the people. Aferia, in a time coming way ahead, Aferia will leave the earth and go into space. And I was wondering why he was talking about he was showing me a whole lot of stuff about this when I saw an angel open up time and space. He opened up the heavens, opened up space, the highways of heaven. And he came out from behind this curtain light. And I looked and I saw behind the curtain, it was nothing but light, completely light. It was shocking. Angel had a huge crown on his head, beautiful golden crown of diamonds. And it was beautiful. It had this beautiful pearl ruby was sitting in the middle of his crown, and he had a sword in his hand. And then he looked at me and he went back, and when he looked at me for a few seconds, he waited, and it was a sparkle came. I saw a sparkle, and it came upon me, and I felt gracious. Then he went back inside, sealed the curtain back up. I was wondering what it was. And the Lord told me, he says, those shall have dominion. He said, show me those shall have dominion. And I was wondering what he was talking about. Those shall have dominion. I saw a whole multitude of stars and clouds. I mean stars. A multitude of stars, not clouds. So it was a bunch of stars. And each star is a galaxy. And he says, for this, you keep my decree. If you diligently keep my decree, you obey me and obey my word. Thy people and thy entire host shall live amongst the stars. And they shall I take thee and all amongst the stars that ye bring forth. See, this is what the Lord was showing me. I don't know. A lot of people might say, well, I'm out of my freaking mind. I'm going crazy. But I was showing this, the spirit of truth. He went, he went, he came up on my shoulder, up on me, and uplifted me in the right, reconditioned me in the right way. And he says, I should take tea. But see, the earth, he showed me, will be destroyed. As I came back and I saw the earth itself turn into a huge gray, it was a huge gray blob. And then all of a sudden it was destroyed. It turned into a huge gray blob, and then it was no more. And somebody above one of the crowds asked me, what happened to the earth? Father, what happened to the earth? I said, God has taken it away. As it has been written, the heavens and the earth shall be taken away, but my words shall never be taken away. That's what Jesus said. And so they was thou among the people was speaking, constantly speaking the gospel of Jesus. The gospel of Jesus was still being spoken in the heavens, but there was no earth. And see, all those that was obedient to God would be taken. And he said, everyone that follows the right path in righteous purity and in understanding and love the Lord thy God with all thy heart shall be taken and live among the stars, reconditioned and live among the stars. And some man will tell me, I said, what if you could live a long time? Would you want to live 1,000 years old? He said, I wouldn't want to live 1,000 years old, man. I wouldn't want to be immortal. Why wouldn't you want to be immortal? Because, man, the way the world is right now, I can live like this. So what if you're not up on the earth like the people of Alpharia, praising God all the time, serving the Lord thy God with all thy heart, living over 3,000 years, living over 3,000 years, living 3,000 years, serving the Lord. They don't get sick. They don't get old. They don't. Gray hair is an age marker because he came upon the earth. That's when they came upon the earth. That's when they found out they was in trouble. But when they was in space, they wasn't in trouble. They pleased the God to allow them to come to the earth because they had went astray by fleeing and not removing Millan, not imprisoning Millan. They thought, well, if we imprison Millan, we're going to kill him. So, and this was a huge host of Millan. I'm talking about at that time it wasn't Millan wasn't all that big at first. They were growing, but you needed Jordell, Kill, and Alpharia, all three of them to work at the same time to stop Millan at that time. But they didn't want to join together. I mean, Jordell was waiting on him. Kill was waiting. But Alpharia fled. They fled. Alpharia became afraid and fled. And Jordell, no, Alpharia is up on the earth. That's why Jordell come back and forth to the earth, because he knows his brother's here. He's not going to leave his brother. He's not going to leave his brother. He's going to always continue to come back and forth because his brother's on the earth. It was Jordell that took the ships back in ancient time. He knew about Tamar, about He knew all about those different kingdoms, the Akkadian kingdom and all those kingdoms like that Alpharia created. The Mesopotamia, he knew that Alpharia created those kingdoms, and then he kept trying to do right by God, but his children, the children that he made with man, those children that he made with man would go astray. The children Alpharia made with man would go astray. They didn't want to obey him. A lot of times they would fight and war, and they was always warring with the angel descendants. That's all they kept doing is warring with the angel descendants, and that was the main focus of them. That was the main focus of them coming here, you know. And when now that they're up on the earth, they see Millan is enacting against, trying to enact against mankind. those workers, the ones that the other Milanites that came to the earth, and those that not Emperor Doplex lead, but the other emperor's children that come to the earth as well. Those are one I fear you fight against them. But now Emperor Doplex is changing over. You still have others that come to the earth too, besides Emperor Doplex, besides his two planet ships. It's the other ones that come to the earth. Some of them are living beneath the ocean, are living beneath the ground on the earth, and that's even worse because they the one cause so much destruction to come. The earth is not safe, and Jordell sees this. That's why he noticed Millan goes down into the ocean during that time. I want to tell you about what happened, and that because Truth has made a deal with Emperor Doplex, and also that his people would live on. Emperor Doplex agreed to serve him, that he may be given a delegation. His he will become, as people call, the Mary High. The Mary High is a half breed between man and those aliens those people, Emperor Doplex, his people, and they would be servants of truth, but they're not going to be on the earth like man thing. Maybe on the planets that he terraformed, but not those planets, not the planet on Earth, because Earth is not suited for these type of people, because the angel children is upon the earth, which are those that want to enslave other entities and to bring other entities under their control and have made up their own laws. And this that God does not, these things God don't like. I'm telling you the truth. But if you don't want to believe me, then I'm sorry. All you gotta do is fast and weep and pray to God, and you'll know that I'm not telling you any lies. But you refuse to do that, so you gonna continue to believe in lies. So I want to leave you with this message today. I'm not gonna make this video too long because a lot of people was telling me earlier, a lot of my friends were telling me, Ben, you be making some long videos putting on YouTube. And I like to I like to go, this is not really a long video. I mean 65 minutes is a long video. If I go on and on and on and on with 65 minutes, I'll do it. I'm gonna tell you something else. Remember, I didn't tell you about Celebra. Celebra, a young black boy, had been taken back in the early '60s when he was leaving his aunt's house and walking down a dirt road and trying to get to home to his mother's house. A spacecraft come down and took him. One of the Millanite saucer shaped crafts sucked him up in a light beam, and one of their light beam, and took him off, and they spliced his genes, and they with a female tiger, and they duplicated him and made a whole lot of him, and they called him Celebra. He's half man and half tiger. The Celebra and the young man became the most greatest servant. He's the most beloved servant Millan has. He's so beloved that Millan put him all on every planet ship that he have. It's hundreds of thousands of planet ships. Besides uh, Emperor Doplex planet ship, is other emperors that has planet ships as well. And the Emperor Doplex is the only planet ship that's closer to the Earth. But those planet ships far out, all of them also have Celebra on them. Celebra are the pilots. He works. He's the guards and everything. I mean, they got Celebra doing a lot of things, and if Celebra goes astray, that would destroy them completely. But he won't go astray because he's so domestic to them. And he also have other species such as Dylan, which is half cow and half man. But Dylan is not as of a great servant as Celebra. Celebra had a brother named Shin, and he's also a servant of. He used Celebra's brother. They duplicate. Shin was not as domestic as his DNA. Shin's DNA is not domestic because he's more of a savage than his brother Celebra. It's from the same young man and a tiger. Shin is a violent. He was the aggressor. He used for war. In some instance, they will use Shin for war purposes. I want to tell you this here because these are the visions that I was shown by the spirit of truth. And I can't say the truth is a liar. I don't want to believe. I will never say that the truth is a liar. And saying truth is a lie should get your soul set on fire. So don't say that. Saying truth is a lie sets your soul on fire. So don't say that. Be strong and be aware and be alert. Things are coming and God's will shall be done. Just as he showed me that will be when he take those that after but when the earth is destroyed, before the earth destroyed, you take so many people that it would be like just like as I seen on when I was watching this show. I used to watch that show called Star Trek. And it was a lot of aliens and people living together as friends. That's how it's gonna be. They're gonna be a bunch of aliens and people living together as friends. They will have a whole congregation. They be going to different planets and talking to each other and riding on those different ships and stuff. It's gonna be like that. In in the word of the name of Jesus was spoken throughout the galaxy. It did not die out. That's what I seen. And I believe after all these times and this stuff passed, this is what's gonna occur. I believe it and I trust it will occur because it is a blessing once it does occur. Because who wants to be in a world of corruption, in a world of sin, in a world of iniquity? I know sin is iniquity in a world of wickedness of evil and not live a long life and be joyous all the time. 'Cause it's going to be joy all the time. Shouting praise to God and seeing marvelous things amongst the stars. Beautiful wonders that you never seen in your life. Amazing things that never been afraid. That's what life is really all about. Never having a fear or feeling threatened or being under control by somebody or something. But having God guide you through everything and keeping you uphold in life, keeping you uplifted and keeping you strong forever, for all times. Salvation will come. God wants you to be happy. He don't want you to be miserable. I told you that before. So let's be strong and keep our ways to God. Be humble. Learn to fast and weep and praise God's name forever. Continue to struggle